President Trump says U.S. officials will meet with Iranian negotiators in Qatar today to restart talks on a lasting peace deal. But Tehran is putting a different spin on today's face-to-face, saying it's sending a delegation to Doha to push for frozen Iranian funds to be released. For more, let me bring in Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow, retired U.S. Navy Captain Brent Sadler, and retired Army Brigadier General Shawn Harris. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Captain, let me just start with you because I'm confused why there is so much confusion surrounding this diplomacy. How concerned are you that the White House and Tehran can't even agree on what today's meeting is actually about?
Well, I think that's just par for the course when dealing with the Iranians. They're going to try to confuse intentionally and to kind of delay these things and wear down, a strategy of an exhaustion, if you will, to try to kind of get their chosen outcomes in this. So the key thing, I think, and it's proven time and time again, is the application, though, very, very, as it's surgical and applied with strategic effect, has actually gotten the Iranians to comply and to move things forward. And as soon as you take off the military operations or threat, they go right back to this kind of, delay and confusion strategy. So I think we're probably going to have to change tactics to kind of move things forward with the Iranians, not expecting them to change on their own, for sure.
Yeah. And General, the other thing I've been thinking, yesterday Iran came out and said, hey, talks are not on. We disagree with the White House on this. Why in the world would Iran put out into the world confusion over whether they were going to show up to the table or not? They've got a $300 billion reconstruction package up for grabs if they comply. So what do you make of all this?
Just like my colleague just said there, Iran is an expert when it comes to gamesmanship. And what we're seeing right now is the negotiation inside of the negotiation. And the reality of it is, if the United States ends up going all the way back to the Middle East and nobody shows up for a meeting today, that makes us look very bad. And then on top of that, the Iranians want to make sure that they draw this thing out because the 16th of August is 60 days. What I predict is going to happen is we're going to get there and we're going to extend it out again. And yes, at some point we will have strategic strikes again, just like we had over the weekend.
Let me talk about strategic strikes a little bit more and play some sound. Captain, President Trump on Monday repeating his claims that the U.S. is winning this war. Take a listen.
But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran.
Captain, if we are winning the war as decisively as President Trump says, why is Iran still able to strike our bases across the region? Bahrain, Qatar, just within the last 24, 48 hours.
Well, to be clear, the war, this conflict is not over. We are, the United States has decided to take a pause and to pursue diplomacy to try to end this. And I think in a way in which the Iranian people hopefully are enabled to take back their country from this theocratic dictatorship that they're under right now, maybe more dictatorship, less theocratic, thanks to earlier strikes. But the fact that they can launch a drone or a few short-range ballistic missiles or maybe one or two salvos of long-range ballistic missiles is far from what they were capable of doing in the first week of this conflict. And that's an indication both of the destruction that's been wrought on their military forces, as well as their inability to do command and control in coordinated, tactically effective strikes. So symbolic strikes, yes, still able to do that, but not really in a meaningful way. And that includes against shipping. They're launching drones and some sporadic attacks. And again, and every time the tanker or container ship continues on until they get to a safer place and then they check the damage. So it's easy to overstate. It's really, the reality is far different realistically in the damage.
General, one last quick question for you. Vice President J.D. Vance has said the final deal is the House. We set the foundation. We don't have the House yet, but we've built a successful foundation. How close do you think we are to said House, sir?
I would tell you, like I said many times before, Marky, I think we're still a long ways away from getting to that final agreement. And the Iranians have made it a outstanding move to say, how do they stretch this out? And I think we probably still anywhere from 6 months to a year from actually getting to a real agreement.
Brigadier General Shawn Harris, Captain Brent Sadler, gentlemen, thank you both so much for your time and expertise this morning. Always a privilege to have you.
Thank you, Marky.
See you again soon.